we're going to be looking at the game Periodic, a game of the elements from Genius Games. Now, the object of this game is you're going to be trying to score the most amount of points, and the board game is actually a periodic table where you're going to be moving a flask around trying to complete different cards to get points. There's several ways that you can score points in this game, so let's take a look at it. Okay guys, here we go. We'll start off with the game board. This is the periodic table of elements that you might remember from science class, and it has all of the elements here. And surrounding this are going to be different types of cards. You've got goal cards, you've got the element cards over here, and then you also have what are called agenda cards, and I'll describe what all these are. What you're going to be doing is you've got a flask that you're going to be starting with, and you're going to be moving this flask around the board trying to land on certain elements. And when you land on those elements, what you're going to do is you're going to put one of these markers on one of these cards over here. So let's just say I happen to be moving around and I have moved my flask over here. I can go ahead and put a marker here on this card. Now the reason I would want to do this is to score points. Anytime I'm able to get a marker on all the elements that are on these cards, I'm going to score this amount of points. And the object of the game is you're going to try to score the most amount of points. Now another way you can score points is you can move your round marker along this academic track over here. Each player is going to be receiving a microscope, and you're going to be placing this on the element track. And the way you're going to be placing these is the first player is going to go over here, and the second player will skip a card and then start over here. What's going to happen is anytime you land on one of these elements that is on the card that is next, in this case it'd be alkali metals here for the metalloids, and let's just say I happen to be moving around and I decide to stop my movement here on the K. Well, since this card has the K on it, this is going to allow me to move my microscope up to this card. And what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to move this marker up to the next space on the academic track, and this is going to be worth 2 points. And as you see, it can go all the way up here to 28 points. Now, whenever you get to the yellow spots over here, only 3 pieces are going to be allowed here, 2 here, and then 1 here. So 28 points is a big number. Now, if it turns out somebody ends up getting one of these cards and you happen to have one of your markers on there, you're going to get a 3-point chip over here, which looks like this. If you happen to have 2 markers on the card, but you don't complete it, you're going to end up getting 5, and these are 3 and 5 points respectively. Now the way you're going to be moving these flasks around the board is by playing on what are called the trend spaces over here, and there's 5 of them. Each player is going to start with a certain amount of energy tokens, and what you can do is you can spend 1 energy token to play on one of these spaces over here. And what this is going to do is this is going to tell you which direction you'll be able to move your flask. For this, you'll be able to move across like this. For this, you'll be able to move up and to the right like so. This is down and to the left. This is down and to the right, and then this is going to be up and to the right. So an example of movement would be if I decide to, say, play an energy token over here, I can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can move up to 5 spaces with my flask. If I decide I want to play another one, say I want to move this one, I could go 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, but I'm going to have to spend 2 energy tokens if I decide to play on another space. Now another option you have is you can take any of the energy tokens that are on one of these trends over here. So let's just say it was Blue's turn and he decided he wanted this. He could just simply take the token and then move up to 5 spaces. Now, once one of these cards gets won, you're going to go ahead and flip over the next card, and the game is going to end once one of these stacks is taken. Now, along with this, there are 3 awards tokens that are going to be with each of these sets of cards. So the first 3 cards, the players are going to go ahead and win this if they win one of those cards. And this one says move an additional 1, 2, or 3 spaces. These are pieces that you'll be able to play on a turn, and this will basically add to your turn, in this case, 1, 2, or 3 extra spaces. And just to show you one of the other ones, here's a blue. This one says take 2 energy from 1 or 2 trend spots. So this would allow you to basically take energy from one of these trend spots over here. So in the beginning of the game, to set up where your flask is going to start, you're going to look at the element card, and you're just going to pick the one that has the lowest number on it. So in this case, this number is 5, so that's where I would start. Now another thing is if you decide to do the atomic number, you'll actually be able to go to the other side of the board, but this is the only way you're going to be able to do it. So I could go 1, then 2, and then I will look for the next highest or next lowest number, depending on which direction I'm going. This says 37, so what I'll do is I'll move to 36 and keep on going. Now if it turns out also there are no energy tokens over on any of these spaces, you can take an energy token from one of the player that happens to have the most amount of them. So here's an example of how movement will work. Let's just say I'm purple and it's my turn, and I decide, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take this, and this is going to allow me to move up to 5 spaces. So I'll move him 1. Now let's go ahead and say I'm going to stop my turn on there. As you can see, there is a C that is over here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just play a token over here. Now, if I land on the FE on a future turn, I'll once again be able to place a token on here, and this will allow me to win the card. Now, you also have what are called the agenda cards. In the very beginning, each player is going to get 3, and they're going to go ahead and choose one of those 3 cards and put it face down. Now, what these cards have are these are going to allow you to get bonus points if you're able to meet the objectives on here. So, for example, if this player ended up getting a pair of this and this, meaning the purple here and the pink here, if they ended up getting a pair of those cards, they would get 5 points. They'd also get 9 points for this particular card for each set of 3 gold cards of different difficulties you complete. So, this is a way that you'll be able to score bonus points at the end. Now, once the last card has been won from one of the decks, that's going to go ahead and end the game, and what everybody's going to do is they're going to go ahead and count up their points. You'll count up the points that you got from all of your gold cards. You'll also count up any points that you've gotten from the lab tokens. Any points that you've got from the academic track, you'll also add that as well. And then you'll also get points for the agenda card. So you'll total all those up, and whoever has the most amount of points is going to win the game. And that, folks, is Periodic Table of Elements. So my final thoughts on Periodic. Well, this is a really good game, and Genius Games makes some incredible games. I love their games, and this game is a really good one. One of the things I love about this game is that you learn as you're playing. I haven't heard about the periodic table since like 10th grade science. But when you play this game, not only does it have great gameplay, great mechanics that are current, but you also learn things. This game actually does come with a separate booklet, the science behind this game, and it'll teach you more about the periodic table and those things if you're interested. But yeah, the gameplay is really good. You got a lot of decisions that you can make, where you want to move your flask, which card you want to go to, which space you want to land on. Do you want to try to get a marker on a card? Do you want to move around the element path to try to get points that way? So yeah, really good game. I think they did a great job with it, and I would highly recommend it to anybody, even if you're not a fan of science. This is a really good game. So guys, that's my review of Periodic. We'll see you later. Keep on gaming.